What's good, y'all, man? It's time to talk a little bit about the Georgia Tech versus Vanderbilt game that's going to kick off tomorrow. Again, unfortunately, I will not be in town. I'm at the Elite Classic right now, so I'm handling that. It's one of my main gigs, but I'm excited to see about this one. I'm going to miss it probably, but I'm going to go back and watch it and give a full recap and my thoughts on it for sure. But it should be a good one, man. If you Georgia Tech, you want to finish the season strong. Obviously, you've hit the portal. You're up to 15 guys now that you land. And get this, guys, the portal actually closes on Saturday, so we're less than 48 hours away. So expect Georgia Tech, too, especially after this game, to still be active in the portal. But they've done pretty good, landed some big-time guys. You can see right here via SI, they're up to 15 guys. This is the second part of it, right? Landed some pretty good guys. Obviously, I like Braden Manley and Malachi Hosley the most. They should be very interesting to watch. Not in this game specifically, but going forward. Also landed Daquan White. It's going to be one of the best secondaries, I think, in the ACC when it's said and done, and a nice receiving core. Nonetheless, when it comes to this game, obviously that's going to be afterwards. They're probably going to get like one or two more guys potentially. But I want to watch Haynes King. I want to see what he's going to be doing this one. He said that he was going to play regardless in his press conference leading up to it, whether he's banged up or not. Obviously dealing with the AC shoulder joint sprain that he's been dealing with since that North Carolina game. I want to see how he looks. How long are they going to play him? It's going to be a situation where they play him most of the game. Will they take him out after halftime, let Follow get some reps? Like, what will that kind of be? So I'm curious to see what that looks like. If you go on SI, all Yellow Jacket, I obviously outlined him. He's one of their best leaders on the team. It leads by example. And he's had a great year. 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, 11 to 1 touchdown to interception ratio. And when he's played, he's been great. And then obviously that Georgia game, man, he was phenomenal, right? Didn't have any interceptions, had literally over 400 yards of total offense. So we've seen what he can do when he's healthy. And a lot of people admire this guy and what he can do. So he's one of the top players to watch in this one. Next up, obviously, Jamal Haynes. He's already said that he's going to come back another year. 808 yards rushing this year, 9 touchdowns. Not too far off from the 1,000-yard mark. But just he's been banged up, too, this year, just dealing with injuries in and out of the lineup for him. But when he's been on the field and when he's run it well, Georgia Tech has won games. And that's the key kind of tipping point for him. When he's been healthy and whole and been able to run and things like that, it's been great for them. So he's going to be one to continue to watch as well. It's another one. And then Malik Rutherford, right? Malik Rutherford's now, he's the guy. Right, when you looked at Singleton and him, they were kind of like split it, 1A, 1B. Malik Rutherford is going to be the guy going forward. Obviously, we talked about the portal and them bringing in Eric Winters, them obviously bringing in Dean Patterson, but he's going to be the guy moving forward. So obviously, was thinking about entering his name in transfer portal, and then withdrew his name and decided to stay. So it's a lot that's going on there. He's a great kid, but this is his last year of eligibility. So it's going to be a real big year for him, and you want to finish the season strong, right? 7-5, 8-5 will look much better, going forward. And you want to continue to build momentum from this past season going into next year and things like that. So I want to see what he's going to look like, and, just how focused, how locked in he's going to be. Always has been, but obviously enter your name in the portal, thinking about leaving, but then saying, hey, I'm going to stay. How locked in will he be, especially with new guys coming in? One more thing I do want to point out in this game, though, the defense for Vanderbilt, right, very susceptible, right, whether it's running the ball or passing the ball. Tennessee had over 500 yards of total offense against them in the recent win, their last regular season game, 36, I think, to 23 or 36-24. So they had a tough time slowing them down. Now, when you think about it, Georgia Tech also has a very prolific offense as well. So it's going to be a chess match because, what are they going to be able to do? Are they going to run it? Are they going to pass it? And what answers will Vanderbilt have, against that? I think that's going to be tough, especially if you got an elite quarterback like a Haynes King and a really good running back and obviously Jamal Haynes. I think they should be able to have their way, and I think Coach Faulkner should call a pretty good offense, to say the least, man. So it should be really intriguing to see if they can slow him down. All right, now on the other side for Vanderbilt offensively, it's going to be Diego Pavia, right? He leads them in rushing this season. He's been throwing the football as well. He's had a pretty good year. In terms of his numbers, that's what it looks like. 2,133 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 716 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns, right? And he's been in the news a lot, too, because of obviously everything going on with him getting another year, right? The NCAA granted him another year because he was a JUCO transfer before he obviously came to New Mexico State and obviously before coming over to Vanderbilt. So, he's been in the news for that. Hey, we should also get that same kind of treatment. Some JUCO guys have been saying so. It's going to be interesting to see because for him, you want the same thing. You want to finish the year strong. You've had a breakout year. You've beaten Auburn and Alabama for the first time since 1955. So now you want to finish the year strong. You want to have a good season. Going 7-6 would be good. Building blocks for the program. They've been active in the portal. They got some guys coming back. So it's going to be a real big game for Pavia going forward, especially establishing himself as the guy at Vanderbilt. And when I say guy, I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about, like, when you think of the Vanderbilt Commodores, you think of Diego Pavia. Like, he's established himself as that. Next up, I want to highlight is Eli Stowers. Now, we think about Georgia Tech. They've had a great year defensively. Much improved under DC Tyler Santucci. An area they struggle with, though, is the tight end, right? When we look at the short and intermediate over the middle of the field, that part has been very susceptible for Georgia Tech. So this year he has 45 catches, 583 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's had 3 games with 100 yards receiving. So he's going to be one to watch because Georgia Tech has struggled in that category sometimes with their linebackers. Now, last game for Trinilis Tatum, Kyle Eifert to be back another year. But you're going to get a lot of guys, probably see a lot of rotation with this unit, especially with guys leaving, not having eligibility anymore and wanting to work in the new guys. So I think it's going to be a position to watch as well, linebacker for Georgia Tech, to see if they can slow down this guy, Eli Stowers. Next up is going to be this guy right here, Brian Longwell, 80 tackles this past year, 4 pass deflections, 1.5 sacks, interception. He flows to the ball, man, and he plays really well. He's had 3 games this year with 10-plus tackles, had 10 tackles in the game against Tennessee. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to get in the backfield and disrupt it a little bit. Could be an intriguing game down the stretch, but he's going to be, kind of tasked with covering, some of those tight ends and some of those great plays and play actions that Georgia Tech has and trying to slow down Jamal Haynes. That'll be really interesting to see if they can do that. So, nonetheless, man, that's what you can look out for in this one. Like I said, it should be a good one. I know a lot of people going to say it's the battle of the nerds. I think 2 great programs moving in the right direction, regardless of how you look at it. Georgia Tech doing what they're doing. Vanderbilt having one of their better seasons in recent memory. And obviously, you see right here, according to ESPN FPI, it's basically a split. 52.1 this way, 47.8 that way. So they're really seeing it as kind of a toss-up, a 2.5 favorite for Georgia Tech in this one, but basically a toss-up on a neutral field between these teams. But I think Georgia Tech got it. I think they're going to come out on top. That's my prediction. Yellow Jackets win this one. They finish the season strong, continue to build going into next year with this elite just 2025 class they're bringing in, and a really good transfer portal class that nobody's going to be talking about, but in years to come, when we see, why was Georgia Tech back at the mountaintop? Why was they back competing for a national title and being in the college football playoff? It's going to be this 2025 class, and it's going to be this transfer portal and the guys that they were able to bring in, instant impact guys. And we're going to see that in a very short time. So I can't wait. If you Georgia Tech finish the season strong, Coach Key continue to recruit, and try to bring in guys and start off the 2026 class right as well, bringing in guys for the junior day and things like that. But it's going to be really intriguing. I can't wait, but I'm going Yellow Jackets. I think they have too much offense. It's too potent, and I think their guys are going to get after them defensively. One more position to watch for in this one, edge rusher. Coach Key is looking for that, especially with the departure of Romello Height. Zeke Biggers will be here for the last game. Sylvan Yanjuan, all of them will be there, but no Romello Height. So it's going to be interesting to see for Georgia Tech, when they rotate guys in, who can have an impact, right? Because that's going to be a position of need going into next year. Now, they've obviously hit that in the portal with Braden Manley and several others, but can they get to the quarterback, right, with 4-man pressure without having to bring a blitz? That's going to be vital next season. If they can build that early right now before 2025 and going into the spring, that could really help out Georgia Tech because that's an area they lacked a little bit last year, not getting pressure on the quarterback, hurting their DBs. But they can start creating that interior pressure and that defensive pressure. Look out. But that's all I got, y'all, man. That's a quick preview. I'm going with Georgia Tech on top to beat Vanderbilt.